Welcome to Impact Moments powered by 90. Today we're joined by Jim Coyle. You will love hearing from Jim. His energy is infectious and he gets really vulnerable and sharing his stories. He got started, he's been a serial entrepreneur his whole life, running 12 companies before and getting his start even selling candy bars while he was still in school. He started a jewelry line, he ran restaurants, he did real estate development, so a lot of different things. Then he found himself reading a self-published book called Traction. And so that was the start of becoming an EOS implementer. He was implementer number 16. I believe that was 15 years ago for him. And in this conversation, Jim traces his quest back for impact to 2 funerals that changed how he thought about his legacy. And he also talks about the platform he built to preserve the tribal knowledge of the EOS community. He also talks about some of the mistakes he's made along the way himself. And so you'll really enjoy this conversation. Let's get into it. Well, welcome to Impact Moments powered by 90. I'm Christine.
I'm Kris Snyder.
Great. And today we're joined by Jim Coyle. Thanks for being here.
Oh, this is awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So excited to learn a little bit more about you. You're an EOS implementer, but kind of give us your backstory and how that came to be.
So I've run 12 companies, and through that work, from a
You almost sound exhausted as you're telling.
know.
me.
Well, it actually-
I run 12 companies.
it was actually so like that was an appropriate response, and even more so like then how I got here. It just made so more complex and chaotic than we needed to. Through all the companies, I look back and I'm like, oh my God, what a freaking mess.
So how did you, like the first company that you started, what was that? And like, how did you kind of catch that entrepreneurial bug?
I mean, I could take it all the way back. The weird one would be like, I wanted to go to Italy when I was a kid, but my family didn't have the money, and I got this opportunity. I could go, and I was like, well, how do I figure it out? So I talked to my teacher. I'm like, I don't have the money. What do we do? And she's like, well, if you sell these candy bars. And I sold like 1 million candy bars. I was really good at it.
You were
You know what I mean? Like,
motivated. Yeah.
everybody in the neighborhood probably still has those candy bars. I don't know how the heck. And so I realized I had, I was like, oh, that was actually kind of enjoyable. I enjoyed doing that. And then I started making jewelry. Like beaded jewelry was cool when I was younger, and so I started to make stuff, and then I was selling it. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah. And I started selling it, and like stores picked up my jewelry line.
Wow.
That was really weird. Yeah, exactly. You knew, Kris, that I was a jewelry maker for years, right? I mean, who doesn't?
Every time I mention you, I say,
yeah,
Jim Coyle, the jewelry maker.
The jewelry maker. And so I did that, like, even in high school or in college. Then I literally would set up boards, and I'd go into like sororities, cool way to meet people or women, whatever way. Yeah, it was put me through college, and then ran a paint contracting company, restaurant in Chicago, and a couple restaurants in Chicago that I owned and ran.
Wow.
Real estate development companies.
Very diverse.
Yeah, I didn't really figure out what the heck I wanted to do with my life.
So you just did everything.
So that's just it.
Just keep trying.
How do you figure it out? You do all the wrong things. I think my life, if at some point on my tombstone will, the hard way. I was successful, and not all of them by any stretch, but the idea that I always did it the hard way. I learned quick, is it another way of saying it, because you learn from your mistakes. It was great. And through that experience, you did ask a question. Through that experience, I just ended up realizing there had to be a better way to do this. This is ridiculous. And so I ended up coming back home. I lived in Chicago for years, and I sold my house and my business and came back to my town in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and said, okay, I got to figure out my dad. My dad was in a bad spot. So I figured out where to put my dad in a good spot. And I'm like, now, all right, what am I going to do? Like right now, and it was weird. I was living back at the family home. Like, okay, like,
This is not where I thought I would be at this stage.
no, exactly. Like, how did I end up here? Single, no job, living at home, but mom and dad aren't there. So it's like, this is a whacked out space. But I did some good thinking and just started realizing that my experience, and I was 30, by the way. So I was pretty young still to figure all this stuff out. And I'm like, all right, what the heck? And I started thinking, maybe there's, of my crazy experience that I learned the hard way, maybe there's some value for other businesses. So I started Nexus Business Solutions, and that was my business advisory company. And we did generalist business consulting, which is a horrible thing to sell. I help businesses with what? Well, I help.
Anything you
Yeah,
need.
no, exactly. Well, you tell me.
Where's your pain?
Exactly.
Oh.
I will sell you that.
Yeah.
I will fix that pain. Oh, it was miserable. But I did it for years, and it was successful. Not what I wanted it to be, but did well. And then ended up reading. So I live in the same town as Don Tinney.
Mm.
And a friend of his had given me this book. They're like, "Oh, have you read this book? Because it sounds like the stuff you do." Because I was trying to sell them on my generalist services. And I said, "Oh, no, let me read it." And it was self-published. So of all the implementers that are left, I'm implementer 16. So like I'm one of the first ones. My first QCE, we're about to go to a 700 person QCE, and my first one was 30.
Right.
So there was like 4 tables. It was awesome. And, we didn't know different, but it was interesting. So I went and I had read the book, and the book had like spelling errors, and but it was really good. And the crazy thing is like I have my original book that I read,
Oh, wow.
and it's actually the same book. They shined it up. That's all they did. So it's actually pretty amazing that like how true to form that was some years
Wait,
ago.
what was it called?
It was called Traction.
Just Traction.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was a different name.
No,
By
no,
your
I
way you were
mean,
saying it.
no. Just
Okay.
when the like publishers got it, they were like,
Just
"Okay, we got to clean this
right.
this up. This is a mess."
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it literally. I was looking. I was like, "Gino, was anything really changed?" And he's like, "There's nothing of substance." He goes, They've decided that some of my sentences weren't full sentences," and I'm like, "Okay."
Sticklers, yeah.
Yeah, there's that stuff. And he says, "No." And then I ended up digging into it at one point because somebody said that there were some differences, and I never found a thing. So it's kind of cool that like really his original thinking um, is still true today,
Yeah,
and
that's
still
very
working.
cool. I didn't realize it was self-published at first either, I
Oh
guess,
yeah,
so
yeah.
so it resonated with you right away.
There was really something there. And actually I called Gino and I said, "Look, I want to steal your stuff and put it into my system." Because I had an approach similar. It just was more nebulous. And I said, "Oh, this is good stuff. I'm going to steal your stuff." And people who own IP generally don't like that.
That's not the opening you'd want.
It's usually not the opening. But the thing is that I'm a very like, I'm a, one of my clients says, "You're a stab you in the front kind of guy." Like,
Well, there
no,
we go.
yeah, no, tu brute. I won't get you in the back. Like, you're going to see me coming.
Yeah.
So I did. I just told him, and he's like, "No, that's cool. Like, yeah, we hope that you get value." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "No, no, we give it all away. No big deal." I was like, "Okay." Now I'm even more intrigued. Like, that actually got me even more. And I'm like, "Okay." And the training was very little money at that point.
Right.
I don't want to say because any new implementer would be very frustrated what I paid. But so I went over. I was like, "Oh, whatever. It's cool training." Is the way I looked at it. And then I've been around since. They haven't gotten rid of me. That was 2011. So this is my 15th year.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you brought an impact moment to share with the audience. What is that?
Well, so it's funny. I was telling you before that I was thinking about my word for a long time was impact. Like, I want to have a big impact on the world. And all those businesses I ran, I think I was trying to figure out how, like, who's my audience. I didn't realize this at the time, but now looking back, my searching was, who do I want to have an impact on, and what is my tool to do that? And so I thought I found something with Nexus. I'm like, I'm really enjoying this, and entrepreneurs are great. These are crazy bunch of people. They're not twisted, but they're all a little bent. And it's like, okay, like I think this is a good group of people. And so I was pretty sure I found my audience, but I didn't have the right tools. And then when I found, traction, I was like, okay, there's something here. But I started to think back farther, like, where did I get this? Why do I have this quest? And it was more of a personal thing. So when I was 25, well, actually even younger than that, probably 20, my mom got really sick. And then for the next 5 years was really sick. And so my sister and I both lived in Chicago, and we would travel home. So it's about 2.5 hours away, and we'd come back every other weekend at least, and just to be with my mom and then help my dad because he was doing a lot of the caretaking. And then she passed away when I was 25. And at her funeral, I think this is the moment that and I never thought about this until you guys asked the question, by the way. So thank you.
Mhm.
At her funeral, there was so many people there. My mom was a kindergarten teacher,
Wow.
and there was so many people there, and it was, like standing room only in this big church, and all these people kept telling and like speaking about her impact, and some came up and wanted to talk about it and at the funeral, and it was amazing. I was like, oh my God, like, and it's my mom. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
know that, how cool she was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I gonna do? like, like, I I want to be, half as cool as my mom. Um,
Right.
and um, and so I just started thinking about that. And that was 25, and then it took me a while. But uh, I think I just was like, all right, I need to have that impact. And kindergartners were not my
No, that was
like.
not
I
Yeah.
knew that wasn't my audience. I was
that
like, yeah,
path.
yeah, exactly. That's not it necessarily. I love kids, but that was not going to be my path. I don't have patience. But so it was that moment that I were like, okay, like I got to figure it out. And then strangely enough, once again, I hadn't thought this. Then my dad passed away. Um, and this was when I was just figuring things out with EOS. And once again, my dad was a judge. And once again, church is packed. And like all these people coming up, like, oh my God, without your dad. And I'd be in restaurants and people would hear me introduce myself and they're like, oh my God, was your dad Jim Coyle? And like, they would start crying to me about what the impact they had. And I'm like,
Wow.
my God, like, so my quest is to be half as cool as my parents.
Yeah.
and, uh, and I had to find my audience. And what's interesting is that, I don't know if you ever heard this, there's a theory that says that you become I don't know if this is the right word, but the amalgamation or the combination of your parents'
Mm.
jobs. And I had heard that and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I was like, judge, kindergarten teacher, US implementer, but then I started thinking about it. So teaching is one thing we do,
Teaching
right?
is,
We do.
yes.
And my dad, his approach, they always said my dad's approach when he was a judge was always to coach them, to help them ultimately. His job wasn't to penalize people. His job was actually to help them. And that was always his role. They always asked him to go to the higher courts, like, oh, become a circuit court judge. And that's where all the, more money, more prestige. And he's like, no, 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 I can help people here. And then what's really interesting is that then he was in town, he would come in and he would facilitate meetings. He became known as the guy that would help to mediate things. And I was
Mm.
like, strangely enough, the judge and the kindergarten teacher, I think, created a US implementer. um, and so
There's
that was that's kind of like how I came here to want to make an impact.
Wow.
Well, the ripple effect is interesting to the impact, right? Like you
Mhm.
think often that you touch a person and that's how, you know, that's what you've done. But what you've probably found out through your parents is it wasn't just the one person they touched.
Mhm.
It was all the other lives that were ripple affecting from that work that they did, the people that they helped, the community that they served.
Yeah.
And it's probably not measurable because the attribution is impossible.
Yeah.
But I think just from those those data points of all the people that come up and that they care enough to say something, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's a restaurant or not, that made a difference.
Yeah, and like think of all the people who didn't say anything. Like, then
Right.
it's
Right.
like, and so the whole idea of the ripple effect, it's another idea of impact, right? Is I want to make a big splash so that it has
Yeah.
bigger ripples.
Yeah.
That's another way of having that bigger impact. But yeah, I think it was interesting. I knew our work did that, Kris. The work that we do, like I knew that it was doing that, but I wasn't sure at what level. And I was introduced to one of my clients' wives, and said, "Oh, this is Jim. Are you a supplementer?" She goes, "Oh my God!" And then came over and just gave me a big hug. And I was like, "Well, hello."
And nice to meet you.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm like, not awkward for me. Is it awkward for you? I was like, "This is great." And she said, "I think you saved our marriage."
Wow.
And he's nodding. He's like, "Yeah, yeah." And I was like, "Oh, okay, go on." Like, how does an EOS implementer save marriages? And so I had another guy, like a he was a roofer. So not on the leadership team, but one of my roofing clients, he comes over to me and he goes, dude, like IDS is genius. Like my wife and I get along so much better and I'm really good with my kids. Like they don't know that I'm EOSing them all the time, but
Right.
like I'm actually just better. Like I think I'm a better human, Jim, because
Right.
of that. Thank you. And then once again, I never met this guy.
Yeah.
He didn't hug me, thank God, because he was really dirty this time. But yeah, I I wanted that impact.
It's such a fresh perspective to think about impact and the ripple effect, because even just yesterday, we were talking about the concept of legacy,
Mhm.
and I feel like even from that conversation, if you think about legacy and thinking about that for yourselves, it's looking, like, inward and, like, what I want and about me as opposed to, like, the impact on other people and how it's, affecting them, so
Yeah.
Well, speaking of impact, it's probably one of the ways in which I've got to know Jim over time as an EOS implementer is by you being a community leader,
Mhm.
right? And all the work that you do and giving back to the community. And then what that really means for those paying attention at home is that we have these quarterly collaboratives that we get together and somebody has to lead it, somebody leads sessions, and Jim does he does a marvelous job. But you've taken that a step further. You've got a company that you've actually been helping implementers as well. Do you mind talking about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny. I started to realize that my audience, I had to figure out the audience, and I really love implementers. I'm like, okay, this is great. And so it started. I will do a little backstory. Being implementer 16, there wasn't as many people there, along the road, and so Don Tinney was the original coach, which is hilarious because I never even realized he was like that was an option. When I was like,
You're like,
I
wait a
could have
minute.
called you. Like somebody should have told me this. I could have used you. But he was running the Monday calls. So the Monday calls are, the implementers come together every Monday and we have these conversations. And he said, Jim, I need you to start to run those. And I was on him because I was I was like, because I needed the help.
Right.
Um, and I'm like, "Ooh, okay, sure." So I started running the Monday calls, and then um, I would get phone calls like, "Hey, Jim, I'm struggling with this," and so I started coaching implementers, and I started to find myself coaching and doing these calls, and so I got a call from Ed Callahan, and he's a good Philly boy, so I won't tell you all the words he said because
yeah.
it's colorful with his language. But I love Ed, and Ed said, Jim, curious, would you be okay if we paid you to do all the stuff you're already doing? I'm like, well,
Twist my arm.
yeah, okay. Um, can you walk me through this, Ed? And he said, yeah, I think, Jim, that we need somebody to run Monday calls and, somebody that it really is doing that. I said, well, I'm already doing that. He's like, yeah. He says, and then we need people to coach, implementers. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm doing that. He's, yeah, we believe that we should be doing that through EOS Worldwide. And so we'd like to pay you to do it. I'm like, okay. And he's like, well, then why me? And this is where the language got colorful. He said, Jim, you've effed it up so bad. And the fact that you're still here, he's like, you'll be a perfect coach. And I was like, first, fuck you, Ed. And thank you. Like it was
Right.
the weirdest backhanded, a
Yeah.
true backhanded compliment. I was like, okay. And he meant it. Like it was heartfelt. Like it was really funny. And I'm like, but he wasn't wrong. I had really had screwed it up. And he's like, it's just a miracle you're still here. And I was like, okay, thank you. So I give the backstory because then I started helping out implementers and I loved it. And I'm like, oh my God, there's something here. We talk about the ripple effect. And sometimes helping the people that are helping the people,
That's right.
helping the people, right? And so I was helping the roofers leadership team. Well, now I'm helping the roofers implementers, who's helping the leadership team, and so I started doing this and I did it. One of the first ways I did it was with what we called our firm model. And so I had implementers coming in and didn't know how to set that up. I had no idea what I was doing. They would all tell you that as well, by the way. They would all agree. But I started to learn there's something here. Like there's value in ultimately things we're creating. And so I started to put a lot of the content I had because I was training implementers as well, because there's a lot of stuff that US Worldwide was doing, but it wasn't in total what was needed for some implementers. Some implementers was perfect. Maybe higher low fact finders, high quick starts, it's like Gino or Peyton's videos are perfect. But then other people needed more, and I was one of those. I'm a 6 fact finder, and I was like, okay, I need more. So I just started to build more,
Yeah.
and I put it on a platform, Playbook Builder, um, and who's John LeDuc is one of my clients, and so we were putting it on there, and I was like, okay, this is great, you know. And so I had it for a group of local people, and then the franchise came in, and they're like, you know, you can't do that anymore. So that went away. And I was like, okay, that's tough because I built this for years.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Yeah.
ouch. And they said you can still have a firm, you just can't actually do it with anybody because I was helping people like come into before I forget what we called it, but it was like a ramp up firm where I was helping people before they became implementers.
Oh,
They would be
interesting.
implementing, but not in the community yet because, you know, that was fine. And so I was helping people with that. And they're like, you can't do that anymore, which to be honest, I always thought it was weird. I always said, this seems strange that we can do this, but somebody needs to because they're hurting my brand and my community.
Right, your
So
community.
yeah, I'm like, forget this. I'm just going to help them to do it better. But then somebody said, "Hey, I heard you have like a platform or something." A friend of mine from Texas, and she's like, "You know, and it's online, right?" And I was like, "Well, yeah." She's like, "Can I get on?" I was like, "Oh yeah." Huh. Bing. Light bulb. And so then I started to build this platform. And so super long answer to your simple question. But I built this platform, the Nexus Accelerator, and it has I think we're up to 400 hours worth of videos and hundreds of tools. And it's, you know, Hank O'Donnell did a whole thing on core focus in it, you know, and so like, which he's a genius when it comes to that. And there's a bunch of other implementers on there, and then a lot of it is me. But it's just these 3 to 5 minute videos about like, okay, you got the loudmouth in your session. How the heck do you handle that? Like, okay, there's this great video by Hank, you know, and you can go in. And so, yeah, people pay a monthly subscription fee, similar to like a 90, actually. You know,
Right.
they pay a monthly fee, and then
Right.
they get access to the tools.
That's really cool
Yeah,
because I feel like all of those little like soft skills and like situational things that come up,
yeah.
like when you're first getting into it, it's hard to anticipate what's going to happen. And so having all of that in one place is probably really helpful for people even just start proactively thinking about it.
And it's my experience has been, well, we like to say 7 times to hear it for the first time,
Yeah.
that you might be at a Quarterly Collaborative Exchange and you see Jim do something and you're like, I didn't write that down fast enough.
Mm,
But if it's actually online and in a video, I can go back to it again and again till I get it. Because
Right.
sometimes I'm slow. It takes me a few times to go,
Mm.
oh, yeah, that's what he's talking about. That's what I should do.
So one of the things I've studied, I geek out about the work we do, is how do adults learn? So adults learn differently than kids learn. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And so I started to dig in on that. And one of the things that adults learn, you'll hear me say something, Chris, and you're like, oh, that seems cool. But there's not a situation to use it. And so
mm,
it goes away because we learn better as adults. And this is where we're different from kids, is that we learn better when it's directly applicable to a situation we have now.
right.
Um, and so it's not implementation. It's like, okay, I have a loudmouth. I need something on that. How do I do that? I wonder if Jim has something, you know, and then they can search it and say, bing, you know, there it is.
Right.
And so that's when then it becomes useful because, oh, then I can put that into play. Um, and so that's the hard thing about, you know, like these QCEs and all this is that, oh my God, that sounds genius. I don't have a situation where I need that. And I think some of the broad stuff that we hear is cool. And yeah, that changes some of the ways that we do things. But a lot of times it's more the specific things and the little things that really make the adjustments for people who've been doing this a long time. It's
Right.
just those little adjustments, you know. So it's been a blast. We've had, I don't know, I think it's 150 some odd people through the platform at some point.
Wow.
Yeah, people have been on it for years. So it's kind of fun to make an impact that way too.
Early on, I started writing down at these quarterlies, people will, whether they call it a nugget or they just have an ism that they share,
Mhm,
right? And you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with that, but that I could
mhm.
see that. So I now have a list of 225 of these I've
Oh, you
gathered.
do? That's cool.
Yeah. And it's one of those things often I will, even before a session, go back through these
Mhm.
and I think about, oh, that's a really good transition given where they're at right now.
Right.
Or I think this is maybe something they need, right?
Mhm.
Anyways, if you ever want to see that list, by the way,
no, it's
yeah,
just in my head. I was like, okay, mental
yeah,
notes
yeah. No,
to do for Jim. That'd be awesome.
and what's also interesting is clients they'll pick up those isms that we use,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Hey, do you have a list?" And I'm like, "Oh, I actually do. I have a list."
Yeah. Oh, you do. Oh, you give it to him. That's really
And
cool.
I give it to them because it's just coaching statements that
Yeah.
we've been using, right? And so it's like, how do we help them be better teachers and coaches along the way?
Yeah. And what's funny is that we start to learn that stuff, and then I start to think, oh, that must have been in a video or something like that. And like, no, we got it at QC. Like nobody, because I said something to an implementer the other day, and I said, of course, this is when you say that, and they're like, what? No, I'm like, no, we do. And we literally looked at the implementer guide to see. He's like, it's not there. I was like,
Oh,
well, this is where I said
that's
Yeah.
and that lands and works.
and
So
it goes here. And he goes, it's really good. He goes, I was like, oh my God, I thought for sure it was in there. So it's funny. We start to then we embody it and put it in. So I'd love to see that list. Thank you.
I feel bad about my attribution to the words because I never write down like who
Who
said
said it?
that,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm always like, well, oh well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll put in my name next to the ones that
You
were
can-
mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If you look at
perfect,
it, you're
yeah.
like, that's mine. That's
Yeah,
mine.
Take credit for the ones you like,
Yeah,
of
no,
course.
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Just the good ones. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because a friend of mine was in Sue Hawk's
Mhm.
session room, and he said, "Oh my gosh, Jim!" And he takes a picture, Joe Paulson, and he goes, "Check this out." And there's this quote, and it's like, "Today you have to decide to be the leader that your company and your people deserve." And so it's something I said at a QC, and it has it, and it says dash Jim Coyle next to it.
That's
And it was
awesome.
like, oh wow, and it's literally on her wall. I was
Wow.
like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. And that quote, it's funny because I've seen other people use it, and there was one buddy of mine, he's like, I'm not giving an attribution. I was like, I, I don't know, that kind of feels weird. um, but
It's
yeah,
a
I love it.
it's an interesting take to like take something that's tribal knowledge and make it really accessible to
Mhm.
everybody, especially new people joining the community.
Yeah,
So
it's funny. One of my jobs is with being so I'm the person that is the strategist for QCEs actually. So
mm,
that's another one of my jobs. I work at US Worldwide as one of my clients, um, and not as an implementer, but I help them to run the QCs. And that's one of the things we've been talking about is the idea like how do we pull out more of this tribal knowledge so we don't lose it, so we don't lose some of this stuff because
right.
Ed Callahan's not going to be doing this forever.
Right.
And Don
Right.
Tinney doesn't have clients anymore, and so we're going to lose some of this stuff. And so we're
Yeah.
trying to find ways to do that.
Yeah.
It's really important that we keep that.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose that.
Well, you kind of led me to this question earlier.
Okay.
But I do like to ask every guest
Okay.
because we talk a lot about the ripple effect and the positive things that happen. But
Mhm.
if you look back, what would you consider one of your biggest fuck ups and
Mm,
what happened? What did you learn from it?
yeah, so many. It's not that I don't have a list. I think so. A couple of them. What do they go back to? Is that if I've found the root of the issue, it's me getting in the way. A lot of times there's this great work we do, we can be a catalyst for, we can make it better, or we can be in the way.
Mhm.
And when I look back, it's me getting in the way. And the one situation is that I I was excited because I like, oh my gosh, like, oh yeah, oh I know, yeah, and I started to like give them ideas, and and then it became about, and then all of a sudden it's spinning around me, and the conversation shouldn't be spinning around me, and I was like, what the heck am I doing? And then I wish I'd say that I've only done that ever once. Yeah, that one
That one
time.
time.
My
Uh,
one mess up. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
and
But
their bankruptcy was not your fault.
not completely. It's hard to say that was. At least it wasn't proven in court. We'll just say
Right,
that.
right.
I was exonerated. Thank you. No, I think that
Do you apply that more to like your entrepreneurial experiences when you were starting and leading companies or into like EOS implementer world or
um,
both?
yes, you would be getting in the way. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I find it's funny because I think one of the reasons why I enjoy the work that I do with US Worldwide and then with other implementers is because then I can be the answer person. I mean, in some regards, that's what we're looking for is like, help me with this, a little more of the consulting role.
Mhm.
And so that's actually kind of release that for me, if that makes sense, where like I don't have that, that need as much in my sessions. So it's kind of interesting. It's like we have needs as humans, and for some reason that is one of mine. And I think that, so it's kind of good that I'm getting those needs met in that regard. I can still get in the way with implementers as well. I still screw that all up. Yeah, ask Mark. Him and I were having a conversation the other day. I'm like, all right, I'll get out of the way. But I think that it's interesting to have the impact. Uh, it, it it's not doesn't need to be about you. And I think that as I've grown up, I've realized that really the impact is it's not about me. Like, how do I do this for others? So,
Right,
yeah.
right. So, what are you reading, listening to,
Hmm.
like channels you're watching that you feel like you're into learning and growing from right now?
Yeah, I am reading Mark Winter's book. He'll love that this is coming up, by the
Mm.
way. Mark Winter's book, Visionary. Have you read it
Visionary.
yet?
I have not read it yet.
Okay.
Wait,
I'm
what's it
I'm in
called?
rollout right now, so I got to get through.
Okay, you are okay. That's funny. Because that's my next one. So we'll
We'll
switch.
swap. Yeah.
We'll swap. Yeah. The ladies asked me like, "Hey, can you be a reader for it before it was coming out?" And I was like, I can't. Like, I really want to for Marissa and
Yeah.
Beth's book, but it's really good. And he said something in there that I thought was really interesting. So I'm not a visionary, and it's funny. A lot of us implementers are. And I decided, I was going to do a test, and I knew that that wasn't me. I've definitely started a lot of companies, but it's not. I don't think that that's my DNA.
Mm.
So the Crystallizer exam, um, I was talking to one of my clients, and then a couple of implementers about this. Everybody thinks that you're either one or the other. You're either an integrator. You're.
Right.
It's not. Like I'm bad at both. Like I actually shouldn't be an integrator, and I actually shouldn't be a visionary. And it's like I should be an implementer. Actually, is what I should be. And so I'm doing the right thing. But it's interesting. Like I have a low score for both. And I didn't know the test was actually built that way. But when I took it, I'm like, oh, that's actually really funny.
Yeah.
And it fits because I'm not. I'm not the integrator for my company,
Yeah.
and I'm not the visionary. Um, but I need to understand them better. And so I
Oh,
really
yeah.
enjoy the idea of like, how do I understand entrepreneurs and visionaries? And, like, how do I get more connected to them? And his concept is the idea that there should be an operating system for the human, for the visionary. And
Mm.
I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Mm.
So they have an operating system for their company, and then there's one for the human of a visionary. I'm like, okay, that's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
that's interesting.
What are
I-
the base concepts there? Like compartmentalizing your ideas, or what does it get into?
It's 10 pillars,
Oh, okay.
and I'm not through it all.
Yeah.
So Mark will
So
be
read the book.
Mark will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm midway through, but it's like they're higher concepts. The idea of know thyself. Kind of I think Socrates said that originally, but the idea that kind of these ideas. But then he says how, and it's really so he makes it very tactical. It's
Right.
almost like traction. Because it was very tactical. Like
Right.
Gino wrote that in a more tactical way than any business book I think it was ever written before. And now people are changing, I think, because of it. So it's more like that. Like, okay, and then do these things, and it's like, okay, this is really interesting.
Right.
And it does apply for normal humans too, not just visionaries. Because I was like, oh, this is good. So I've done some of the exercises, and so. But I'll tell you when I get done.
Great.
Sorry.
Love it.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
been really good.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Really fun conversation. Love digging into your background. But that's all we have today. So thanks for joining, everyone, and appreciate it.
This has been
Yeah.
fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Cool.
Jim said his goal is to be half as cool as his parents, and I feel like I very much resonate with that. But really, I loved hearing Jim talk about how he saw himself in both of them. His mom as a kindergarten teacher, his dad as a judge, and the impact that he felt just being there, standing room only at their funerals, and how that really impacted the way that he was going to live moving forward. What I keep coming back to as well is the roofer that pulled Jim aside and said EOS made him a better human, and how he wasn't talking about being a better employee, but a father and husband and person overall, because he could feel that sense of calm and have that sense of confidence and understanding in who he was and what he was meant to do. So that's the ripple effect that I feel like doesn't show up on the scorecard, but it's the human energy and human impact that can really come from the tools and taking control of your business. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. And if the episode did resonate, please like, subscribe, and share it with somebody that you care about. We'll see you next time.